Trump, meanwhile, is sharpening his criticism of China tonight after a U.S. intelligence report found China hid the severity of the outbreak and then hoarded vital medical supplies. So will the U.S. take action? Here's our chief White House correspondent, Jonathan Karl.
To President Trump, there is no doubt who is to blame for the coronavirus pandemic.
It came from China. It should have been stopped. It could have been stopped on the spot. They chose not to do it, or something happened. Either there was incompetence or they didn't do it for some reason. And we're going to have to find out what that reason was.
The U.S. is accusing China of covering up just how devastating the virus was when it first hit. A report by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, obtained by ABC News, concludes, quote, the Chinese government intentionally concealed the severity of COVID-19 from the international community in early January while it stockpiled medical supplies. And over the weekend, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo told ABC's Martha Raddatz that he has seen evidence that the virus came from this lab in Wuhan, China, a theory pushed by the president as well.
And, Mr. Secretary, have you seen anything that gives you high confidence that it originated in that Wuhan lab?
Martha, there's enormous evidence that that's where this began. I can tell you that there is a significant amount of evidence that this came from that laboratory in Wuhan.
But the administration has not made any evidence public. When asked if the virus spread was accidental or intentional, Secretary Pompeo said he could not answer. The director of national intelligence has said the intelligence community is investigating, quote, whether the outbreak began through contact with infected animals or if it was the result of an accident at a laboratory in Wuhan. The Chinese government knows it's not just Donald Trump placing blame. According to Reuters, the Chinese Ministry of State Security has reported to Chinese leaders that anti-China sentiment around the world is at its highest level since the Tiananmen Square massacre in 1989. So high, the report says, that China should be prepared for the possibility of war with the United States.
Those were some bold words, but as you point out, John, the critique isn't just from the U.S. when it comes to China. And John with us live from D.C. and the Secretary of State, we all watched, telling Martha the U.S. is going to hold China accountable. So what is the White House saying tonight about any possible retaliation?
Well, the president said on Friday that he wants to find out what happened before making a decision on retaliation. And just yesterday, the president was asked if new tariffs on China could be part of any retaliation. And he said, quote, we're all playing a very complicated game of chess or poker. So the bottom line, David, it's unclear what exactly he has in mind.
All right.